Immersed Robot.
Hello, welcome to Immersed Robot again, back in Elite Dangerous. I'm sorry to be so predictable on this, but I wasn't planning to make a video yet again, actually, today, because I was just struggling for things to actually make a video on. There's not too much happening in the world of VR, and I've got a few things planned with the Pimax Crystal, but I'm not quite ready to actually make videos on those items yet, although I do want to get back into Microsoft Flight Simulator. But in this video, I wanted to talk about the Quest Pro and the Pimax Crystal, because I do get asked this question, quite a bit on some of my videos on the Pimax Crystal, where people ask me to sort of discuss some of the comparisons between the Quest Pro and the Pimax Crystal in terms of clarity, because although the Quest Pro is much lower resolution than the Pimax Crystal, it's got a surprising amount of clarity. Now, I've not got a Quest Pro, but I have tried one a couple of times, and most recently it was when Paradise Decay and Lee Daysnetic came over to my house to try the Pimax Crystal, which was a few weeks ago now. And so Paradise Decay bought his Quest Pro with him just so we could sort of have a quick comparison between the two headsets. And it's interesting because on the one hand, I think overall I would say that just going backwards and forwards between those two headsets, I would say that the Pimax Crystal did give overall a better image quality in terms of clarity, and when you can ramp up, if you've got a powerful enough PC or the game is not quite so demanding, that you can ramp up the resolution scaling in the Pimax Crystal, I think most people would agree that it is actually a sharper image, and a much clearer image than in the Quest Pro. However, it's a difficult one to really go A to B between, because the Quest Pro undoubtedly has better lenses. I'm a massive fan of those Pancake lenses in the Quest Pro, and it was surprising to me. I remember the first time I tried it, I wasn't expecting that level of clarity. I'd read the spec sheets, and I'm falling into the same trap that I usually do, where I sort of start to form opinions based on spec sheets, which you can't always do. We all know that. It does come down to personal experience a lot of the time in all of these headsets. Spec sheets can tell you certain things, but they won't give you an actual, a level of experience that you will get from person to person in each of these headsets. But I was falling into that trap with the Quest Pro, and my expectations were absolutely blown away with the Quest Pro in terms of clarity, edge-to-edge clarity especially. Now, the Pimax Crystal does have fantastic edge-to-edge clarity with these aspheric lenses, but I can't really honestly say that there is some degradation as you go towards the edge. You can, if I look down to the bottom left, I can see some degradation in terms of just slightly blurry towards the very edge of the lens. And of course, just on the footage here, just so there's no confusion, I am of course running dynamic foveated rendering in Elite Dangerous right now as well, so you will see some pixelation where in the areas where I'm not actually looking at on the footage I'm showing here. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about actual blurring of the lenses as you look towards the very perimeter. In the Quest Pro, it's difficult. I've only had sort of 10 minutes, 15 minutes each time in that headset, and I played a little bit of Red Matter 2 in the Quest Pro, but the actual clarity is really fantastic with those lenses. Pancake lenses, I'm convinced now, that's the way forward with all of these headsets. I think that the aspheric lenses in this headset are great, and I don't actually notice any distortion. But I think there are downsides, and chromatic aberration is one of the things that I do notice in the Pimax Crystal from time to time. Right now I can't see any. I don't think I can see any right now, but if I go into the Steam menu, it's very easy to see on the edges of the menu. So chromatic aberration is a big one, and some people really don't like that. It's not the worst thing in the world to me, but of course I can definitely understand why people don't like it. But in the Quest Pro, I noticed none of that. The lenses just seem really, really high quality, great edge-to-edge clarity, but overall clarity and of course I've not played Elite Dangerous or some of the other games in the Quest Pro in the same way that I have in the Pimax Crystal. I would actually like to try Aircar in the Quest Pro, because that will be a great comparison to make with the Pimax Crystal. But yeah, I'm convinced that Pancake lenses are great, but overall image quality, if you can push things up a little bit, I do think that the Pimax Crystal will give you a much sharper image really in certain areas than the Quest Pro. But it's shocking to me how clear that Quest Pro is based on those lenses. You look at the actual resolution of the Quest Pro, I don't think it's much more than the Quest 2. In fact, it might only be a very small amount higher than the Quest 2, but the clarity that those lenses supply, together with possibly slightly higher super sampling or just the way the lenses work, because I've been told, and I don't know if this is factual or not, but I've been told that there's no barrel distortion correction on Pancake lenses, or a very small amount, and that can allow the headset to actually increase super sampling slightly, and you don't need to super sample as much to correct for the barrel distortion to bring that central area back up to the resolution that you would need to do on Fresnel lenses or something like that. So you're getting performance gains, and that can mean that you get a better resolution scaling in the center of the image if you do apply that super sampling. I probably need some diagrams to really explain myself what I'm talking about there. It probably wasn't too clear, but the end result is that they might be able to get some clarity gains anyway, based on the fact that how the lenses work and the fact that they don't need to do so much barrel distortion correction. But that's another question, and I don't know the details on that. It's just something I've been told by numerous people now regarding Pancake lenses. This is what makes me really excited for the Quest 3 actually. I can't wait to get hold of that headset and see how it compares to clarity in certain titles. I can't see it coming up to the standard of the Pimax Crystal, honestly, for most things, only because we don't know the displays, we don't know all the details in the Quest 3 yet, but the mini LED backlight in the Pimax Crystal with that local dimming does make a difference in titles like this. And people have asked me about the blooming as well, on which you can get with these displays. Now, I don't notice, I can't honestly say it looks any different, or barely any difference, between many other headsets that I've used. There's no glare in these lenses, there's no God rays or anything like that. Perhaps the stars are blooming slightly. I don't know if that's a visual effect within the game itself, or if that's because of the local dimming implementation that I've got. And I have got it on the most aggressive form of local dimming as well, because I wanted to take advantage of that and get those deep blacks and bright colours, which you do get in this headset. It's actually a real shock going back to the Quest 2, I've got to say. I like my Quest 2. I think it's a great headset anyway, and I've always enjoyed it for Airlink and virtual desktop and playing PC games as well as the standalone games as well, but it's a shock going from this to the Quest 2. And you would expect it to be. I'm not saying that it's unexpected. It's a much cheaper headset than this, and the specs are much higher on this one. But it's more of a shock than I was expecting. That's what I would say. But yeah, just going back to the Quest Pro. Yeah, clarity overall, I can't say that the clarity is overall as good as in the Pimax Crystal, but it's still shockingly good in the Quest Pro. And like I say, I think as we move forward with more and more VR headsets, I think the Pancake lenses will probably become more standard based on their advantages, but also based on the actual visual advantages, but also because of the form factor advantages that they offer. You can't really argue the fact that the Pimax Crystal is a bulky headset, and I would much prefer it. If they could really hone this design for the kind of visual clarity that I'm getting in here, but pair it with a much smaller, slimmer fitting form factor, that would be almost like a dream, really, I guess, because I don't like the bulkiness of this headset. But when I'm playing Elite Dangerous, who cares? I don't really notice it that much. I think I would notice it in more fast-moving, fast-paced games, but I don't notice it really in Microsoft Flight Simulator or in Elite Dangerous. So yeah, it is what it is. But I was just really talking about the overall visual comparison between the Quest Pro. And as I've mentioned, I've not got a Quest Pro, so it's based on very limited use of that headset as well that I'm talking here. But I'm pretty confident that, you know, my judgment won't really change on the fact that I do think the Pimax Crystal will give a overall better visual quality than the Quest Pro. Unsurprisingly, I would say, in some ways at least. But I guess that's it for this quick video. Like I say, I have got some more stuff planned with the Pimax Crystal. Still working out how I want to do the motion controller video. I want to try a few different things, but also there's a few different versions of the software that I've got at the moment. One which allows for eye tracking, another which allows for controller tracking improvements. So I might remove this software in order to test the controllers a bit more thoroughly, and it will all be based on various updates that Pimax have planned, actually, with some new software updates that are coming out. So hopefully the experience will improve for everybody across the board in the coming weeks and months anyway with this headset. Hopefully not too long. You know, I'm hoping that they do roll out the eye tracking. I think it's a great feature and seems to work really good for me anyway. I think the benefits of dynamic foveated rendering in my testing are you know, pretty clear really. So yeah, I'm excited to continue using the Pimax Crystal. I've got other things in the works as well, with some other hardware hopefully coming, not to mention the Lynx R1, which I'm still really excited to get into at some point in the future, hopefully the near future, but we don't know about that yet. So yeah, I'll have all these videos that will be coming out at some point in the coming weeks and months. But thank you very much for watching this one, and I'll see you next time.